Disney runs on systems and processes. And I think that's instructive in that that's how they can consistently deliver a great experience.
Martians landed.
Yes.
Wearing Prada suits.
Yes.
Drinking Henry Seltzer.
Yes.
Chewing juicy fruit.
Yes, and?
Your branding here.
Yes, brand.
Your message here.
Yes, and?
A verse about
Yes.
your product here.
Yes.
I'm Hersh Rephun.
Yes, and?
I'm a message therapist.
Yes.
And I have a podcast.
Yes, brand.
That's right, that's it.
Yes.
We'll help you fix the world.
Yes.
Or your bottom line.
All right.
Your bottom line.
Get it. I get it. Welcome to the Yes Brand Podcast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Yes Brand Podcast. I have to say that today is a little bit of a warm and fuzzy day for me because you may have heard me talk about it on the podcast. I'm a big kind of Disney kid from way back, not in the sense that I was a performer, but it definitely Walt Disney World. When the park opened, I think I was 7 years old. We went that very first summer. We went every summer thereafter, pretty much until I was about 16. I literally just talked to my sister yesterday about a reunion with a friend whose parents were best friends with my parents, and we used to go together to Disney and had like the just the funnest, weirdest times. Why do I bring all of this up to you? Well, obviously, it has to do with my guest who I will maybe title this episode "Disney and Beyond" or something like that. But I'm welcoming Vance Morris to the show today. Vance, if you don't know, is has a very interesting history. He was a former birth control factory security guard. He was a Disney leader, turned bankrupt, turned out of work executive, turned carpet cleaner, turned successful entrepreneur. And it's not a straight line, it's a reinvention story. After rising into leadership at Disney, Vance found himself starting over from scratch. And instead of chasing glamour, he applied Disney level experience systems to unglamorous industries and built businesses designed to get, serve, and keep clients for life. Today, Vance is helping business owners do exactly that. He's creating experiences, response required marketing, and it turns customers into raving fans. But what makes the conversation so interesting to me isn't tactics, it's the deeper questions underneath. What exactly operationalizes loyalty? What breaks brands at scale, and why is the customer experience ultimately an identity decision and not just a strategy? And with that, I will say, let's get into it and welcome Vance Morris to the Yes Brand Podcast.
I appreciate it. Hopefully, I'll drop a few nuggets for you today, Hersh.
Oh, I'm sure. You carry instant authority through Disney. Anyone who has at the level that you worked, on their resume, that's going to open some doors. What I'm curious about is, and you can share a little of your background about, what you did at Disney, but what happens after the familiarity effect wears off? The door opens. Yes, it's great. Then what happens?
Yeah, then what happens is it's different every single day. I don't think I was bored a day in my life there. Kind of impossible to do. But the first big lesson I really learned at Disney, and it wasn't about picking up trash or, how to smile at people or anything like that. It was that Disney runs on systems and processes. And I think that's instructive in that that's how they can consistently deliver a great experience. Yeah, they make mistakes, I get it. But if you want to have consistency in the delivery of your service, consistency in your product, you got to have a process or system to back it up. So at Disney, I mean, if you wanted to carry a tray in a restaurant, they had a process for it. If you wanted to change a bus tire, they had a process for that. And I carried that lesson through all of the jobs I had afterwards and into my own businesses and now the ones that I consult with. And we really look at the process of your marketing system, the process of your operation system, your customer service delivery system. We put all of these things into place, not so much to not strangle you with systems or processes, but to ensure that it's delivered consistently. I mean, I still to this day need checklists for some of the things that I do. I mean, it's not, you wouldn't want to get on an airplane and the pilot that day decides, yeah, I'm not going to do the pre-flight check. I'm just going to wing it. That's not an airplane you want to get on.
Yeah.
And so we got to do the same with our businesses. We gotta follow a process.
Yeah, and what's interesting to me, what's always interesting to me is that, coming from the brand perspective, brand means nothing if the implementation not only isn't sound, but if it doesn't follow vision. If it isn't somehow aligned with vision, it's not just, oh, we make good airplanes, right? So we use good parts or whatever. There's a million decisions that go into the million pieces of equipment that get put together. And I think even as a young person, I noticed that with Disney. Um, your experience also had to do with customer experience and loyalty. Share with the audience a little bit about the jobs you held there.
Sure. So at Disney, and actually a stat that everybody should know and really embrace is if you went to Disney today, in the park right now, 80% of the people have been there before. That's a lot. It's only
Yeah.
20% new. And I think that's a tremendous ratio for any business to try to achieve. Let's try to get to 80% existing customers that continue to buy from us because they know, like, and trust. And we use the 20% as our growth vehicle. And so when we were at Disney, the plans that we put in place were such that it was fantastic for somebody new because they'd never experienced it, but it was always slightly different for the folks that had been there before. Um, and so when I was there, I was on the design team of Chef Mickey's, which is a character dining experience where the characters come to you while you're sitting there having breakfast or dinner. And we needed to have a consistent delivery because if we didn't, I mean, if you've ever been to a restaurant, things can go haywire real quickly. So like our marching orders were get the mouse through 400 seats in 43 minutes and make it feel like a great experience. And now you may be asking yourself, okay, why 43 minutes? Well, in our world, a table for two sat for about 43 minutes. So
Hmm.
if we didn't get the mouse all the way through the dining room and see everybody, that table for two sat and waited. And so now they're getting irritated because they're waiting, and people in line are getting irritated because now they're waiting longer just to come in and sit down.
Right.
So we had to have the systems and processes in place to get the mouse through those 400 seats in the amount of time and make sure that it was a great experience. So we pulled together, I mean, every department possible. I mean, the bus boys were together, the housekeeping department, the entertainment department. We brought all these constituencies together because our mission was so strong, get the mouse through 43 minutes, 400 seats, that we were able to use that mission with other departments and get them involved, which is really a testament to the power of the mission.
Yeah. And we talk about now doing this for unglamorous businesses, businesses that don't have uh, what I would say is when you have a name like Walt Disney World, let's focus on that,
Yeah,
not even the motion picture side or
sure.
wherever else it might be. The experience, the theme park experience, you have let's say you worked there and you talk about working there, you have some borrowed authority from that. But there's also built authority, which may not be as sexy, but it's the underpinnings, it's the inner workings of, as you were referring, Vance, what you take from that job, what you take from it. So, for example, if Disney disappeared from your bio tomorrow, how would you describe what remains there in terms of the skill set you bring to what you do
Yeah, sure. And that's a great question. Nobody's ever asked that before, so
now?
I appreciate it. Um, but yeah, the skill set is being able to create experiences out of the mundane. So we all have boring, mundane things we need to do day in and day out to keep the business up and running. Companies like Harley Davidson, Apple, Chick-fil-A have all figured out how to create experiences out of the boring stuff that has to be done. I mean, you drive to a McDonald's and you got the squawk box thing that you order your food in, and the employee might grunt at you. Okay.
Yeah,
But if you go to Chick-fil-A, well, it's a completely different experience. There's actually like well-dressed young individuals that are standing outside. They don't have the squawk box thing because you can't understand them. So you're actually talking to a human and they say please and my pleasure and thank you. It's the same commodity, fast food, but approached from very different cultures.
yeah,
And that's how you can take you know, and everything I just told you didn't have the word Disney in it. I used some other companies, but um, so it doesn't just have to be that. So you have to find those things. And Disney just became a master at creating experiences out of the mundane.
yeah.
I'll give you a quick example. So for one of my home service businesses, we have to get in the front door in order to provide our service. We can't get in the front door. Well, we can't clean. So our entrance into the home looks like this. We park in the street. We don't park in the driveway. God forbid I got an oil leak. Now I got something else I got to clean up. Technician
Hmm.
gets out. He's in a clean, crisp uniform because he carries extra uniforms with him. And as he's going up to the front door, he's got his little special mat and a little gift. And he gets to the front door, lays down the special mat. He knocks. He doesn't ring the bell because friends knock. Salespeople ring the bell. Takes a couple of steps back. Mrs. McGillicuddy answers the door, says, hi, my name's Josh. I'm here to create your healthy home. May I come in? So we don't just barge in. And then we do an exaggeration, the theater part of everything, of wiping our feet. And then we put little booties on our clean shoes. And as we're going into the home, we present Mrs. McGillicuddy with a gift. Now, when was the last time you had a pest control or a carpet cleaner or electrician give you a gift before they did anything? I mean, just on the way in. I'm going to guess
Right.
probably never. Um, so that is our process for getting into the home. And the thing about the gift is it does a couple of things. One, separates us from everybody because nobody else does it. And the gift isn't
Yeah.
huge. It's a custom little blue box, a bottle of spot remover, a little bag of Entenmann's cookies, and a note for me saying, thanks so much for letting us into your home. Um, that starts a process called reciprocity. I give something to you, you feel compelled to give something back to me. So when we implemented the gift, we saw a 26% increase in our mid-tier package, or an additional $65,000, $70,000 in additional sales every year that we could attribute to doing that little gift.
Yeah. Yeah. You pointed out a couple of things. One is the Chick-fil-A idea where, they don't use the squawk box. Sometimes no matter how many advances happen in technology, the bean counters kind of just defer to whatever the cheapest
Right.
thing was. Those squawk boxes, it's pretty much, and the customer representative who's behind the squawk box may be totally personable and they may have a whole speech that they give, but if
Yep.
it can't be heard through the thing, you're still frustrated. And that's like 9 out of 10 times
Yep.
with fast food. I wonder, with some of the things that you know you didn't just take Disney thinking, you stress tested it with these unglamorous industries at some point. Something must some in some industries it must have broken, when they try to scale. Were there things you learned from from these industries that didn't translate, where something you tried something but it didn't translate?
No, when you're looking at different industries and different niches, I mean, you have to do something, fairly unique and specific for that industry. One of the thing I work with a bunch of financial advisors, and a lot of times they have obviously different problems. And so one of my clients is in a corporate center. It's probably got about another 7,500 tenants in it, and people couldn't find their office. It was just like buried in there. And of course, it's a corporate place, and they're not going to put up signs for you. So we created a very Disney-esque fix to it, which was we did a video of somebody getting in their car, driving into the parking lot, parking in the spot where you're supposed to park, walking up to the front door, what button to push to get the elevator, what floor to push on the elevator, walking all the way around. And then when you got to the office, there was the receptionist standing there, not just waiting to greet you by name, but is also standing there with a menu of still and sparkling waters saying, "We know it's really hot outside. What can I get you to drink?" And you have this gorgeous like steakhouse menu. So you have to think of, you have to create your customer journey. And this is the unsexy thing that every business owner has to do. You got to do it point by point by point, and you got to do it from the point of view of the customer, not you. And what I mean by that is, let's say your first point of contact is a meeting in your office, and you're a financial advisor, so you got to gather all the numbers and you get information. You say, okay, give me 2 weeks. I'll have a proposal for you and we can have a plan. Well, you're working, right? You got the
Yeah.
numbers, you're crunching, you're doing things, you're looking at investments, savings, tax, blah, blah, blah. What's your customer doing? Absolutely nothing. They're sitting there waiting. And what happens when you wait? Well, you start to second guess. Was this a good purchase? You have buyer's remorse. Is the guy even
Right,
thinking
right.
about me? What the hell is going on while, while I'm sitting here waiting? And so you have to understand that that is what the customer is experiencing. So you have to do something to what I call entertain them while they wait. Disney was amazing at this. They called it line entertainment. They entertain you while you wait in line because you
Yeah.
wait for a lot of things at Disney. You wait for your food, wait for the ride, wait for transportation. So they've just figured out a way to make the wait not feel so bad. Well, we need to do the same thing. So can you immediately send them a handwritten thank you card? Can your assistant reach out and say, hey, Bob's working on your plan right now. He didn't wants to make sure we didn't forget you. And then maybe you wrote a book, so get the book in the mail to him. There's all these touches you can do in between the wait period, in between the two meetings, where it would just be a void of nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think those touches, like I went to I just did a stress test, at my cardiologist. So you have to go in and you do the treadmill and everything. But the hospital at University of Iowa, a very very big hospital, big beautiful hospital. 10 years ago, we moved here. You would get lost going to any appointment there. Now they have a system wide way of making it easy for you. So when you book the appointment, they tell you take elevator this to floor that. When you
Yep.
get there, they say take a picture of your parking spot, take a picture of the spot, take a picture of the bay that you're in, And if you do that, you will find your car in
Right.
2 minutes. And it's those kinds of things that are great. Um, and that, of course, speaks to loyalty, repeat business. They
Yep.
want a repeat experience. Would you describe loyalty as an experience tactic or a leadership decision?
Well, certainly it's got to be a decision that you're going to focus on loyalty. So I mean, if you baseline, if you don't have good service or a good experience, well, you don't really have a prayer at retaining loyal customers. It's just you failed at the first thing you were supposed to
Right.
do. Um, but if loyalty is the conscious decision, well, you have to engineer that. it starts with those experiences that you and I just both gave examples of. But you then have to have a loyalty process or a loyalty system in place. And I'm not talking punch cards or, buy
Yeah.
10, get one free, that kind of crap. I'm talking, okay, what are you going to do to further the emotional connection, the human connection, in between times when they purchase from you? Because remember, it's not the customer's job to remember you. It's your job as the business owner to remind the customer you exist. And you don't always want to be selling to them. Nothing worse than, the only time you ever hear from a company is when they want money.
Right.
So you need to mix up your messaging, preferably offline as well as online. One of the tactics I love using is a newsletter, in print paper newsletter that we
Mhm.
send to all of our clients. It's a non-salesy thing. It's a little bit of entertainment. It's kind of like Reader's Digest light. And it's designed to keep us top of mind. The biggest call to action we have in it is, hey, if you got a friend or neighbor that might need us, have them give us a call. But that's the relationship glue piece that we use to keep everybody together is that newsletter. Then we can send a monthly postcard that has an offer in it. And that's the design to actually sell something.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and then if you throw in digital, like either social posts or email, I mean, we'll send a weekly email to our clients, and it's a combination of the stories from the newsletter with the offer that we presented in the postcard. We just marry the two together. And I found that that is a great blend of online, offline, salesy, non-salesy content to maintain that 80% that we're looking for as far as customer retention.
Yeah, and I believe that it does require a mix of sales and just entertainment or whatever we want to
Mhm.
call it or information because if we train the audience, even our clients, to expect everything for free, then they don't understand the relationship the way they
Right.
should. And so we have to train them to buy from us and to give them offers for that reason. um, I like to talk about scale on the show because small business owners, we have people who are solopreneurs, we have people who are entrepreneurs, people who are small business owners, founders, operators, and so forth. And at some point, I kind of touched on this a little bit, but when they scale, something breaks the brand, like literally breaks the brand. What would you say um, breaks a brand at scale?
Well, first and foremost, I think it's new employees don't understand the culture and they don't know the backstory of the founder. If you're a new employee at Disney, well, I mean, geez, Walt died, what, 50 plus years ago. So probably half the people that started the company aren't around anymore either. But they have a onboarding called Traditions, where they literally spend a day and a half telling you all about the mores, traditions, all the things that make Disney Disney is what they go over and teach you. Marriott does the same thing. If you're a new employee at Marriott, everybody knows the story of Alice Marriott, the founder's wife, carrying bags of sticky nickels to the bank from their little 9-seat hot shop that they used to run in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
That was 70 plus years ago, however long. So you've got to have a powerful story, and people have to know, or employees have to know that story, and they have to understand that culture. So new hire orientation, onboarding, whatever you want to call it, is vital. And those systems are also vital because if you don't have a documented system, then you're just letting, Marge at the front desk tell her replacement or her trainee anything she wants. But if you have a documented system and says, hey, we're supposed to answer the phone this way, and then Marge is training Sally, and Marge answers the phone some other way, well, Sally's got the training manual right in front of her. It says, hey, Marge, we're not supposed to answer the phone that way. We're supposed to answer it this way. What's up?
Yeah.
So that becomes very powerful. And I think that, a lack of documented systems when the company is growing is really where things fall apart.
This goes back to where we started because we were talking about, uh, the culture. We were talking about, how things, what is it that inspires the operation is the story and all of that. When you mentioned the traditions piece, that resonated because if the employee, first of all, employee experience erosion is a big problem for a lot of companies.
You're not
Um,
kidding.
if they don't know that story and feel that story, then the operational discipline isn't going to be there.
Yep.
Would you agree that operational discipline is emotional discipline at scale?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. I mean, you have to have um, the why of the company has to be embedded in every employee, and that's done one through onboarding, two through continuous reminders. I mean, nobody likes to be told what to do, but if you are continually reminded of, hey, these are our standards, these are how we do things. Ritz-Carlton is famous for that. They have their Ritz-Carlton Creed. It's like, I don't know, 11 or 12 things that, ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen. But every Ritz-Carlton in the world spends 5 minutes on one of those 11 points every single day. And it's the same one all around the world. So today they're talking about, I don't know, point number 5. And they're talking about how, who's emulated that, what it is, how it works, recent examples of that particular standard. So it's reminder more than it is dictation and telling people what to do.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Um, Before I have one more question for you, but
Yeah.
I want to also have you tell our audience where they can find you, because it'll be in the show notes. But some
Yeah.
people like to listen, and it's like you were saying about dictation and repetition. A little oral repetition never hurts. So
No,
yeah,
no,
so
certainly doesn't. The only social media I do is LinkedIn, so you can find me there, Vance Morris. I'm the only Disney guy on LinkedIn. Um, and the website is vancemorris.com.
keeps it simple. Okay, so here's the closing question. You can kind of take us out with this. If brand is just as a rule is fragile, there are fragilities that we've explored, and strengths as well. What is the best protection for a brand?
Well, strong culture, and consistent delivery. I mean, your brand to me is a byproduct of the service you provide or the product that you deliver. And if you are consistently delivering that well, and there's nothing wrong with your product and it works as advertised, then you really shouldn't have a weak brand. That really is the basis for the strength of a brand is that consistent delivery.
Alright.
If you liked the show,
Yes, and?
it worked for you,
Yes, then?
subscribe and leave a
Yes, friend.
5-star review.
Yes, friend.
Tell all your friends.
Yes, friend.
Get your branding here.
Yes, friend.
Get your branding here.
Yes, friend.
Did I make it clear?
Yes, friend.
Get your branding on
Yes.
before they're gone.
Yes.